Hello you fine ladies and gentlemen, how are you all doing? I hope your day is going well. Today we have another loadout for Star Wars Battlefront, this time a loadout which is kind of tailor-made for the Death Star DLC and its maps and game modes. Now, as you may have heard, the new game mode for this expansion is Battle Station, which is pretty much a 3-stage battle which leads up to the destruction of the Death Star if the Rebel team is victorious. However, only one of these 3 stages is fought as a soldier on the ground, as the other 2 have you piloting starfighters. So for the sake of this video, we will only discuss that stage of the game mode when reviewing this loadout, as of course that is the only part of the battle where you would be using this. Now let's get into the loadout itself, starting with the blaster it uses, the new TL50 Heavy Repeater. This blaster absolutely excels on the Death Star maps, which focus on close to medium range engagements, paired with many hallways and choke points across the map. Seeing as the Heavy Repeater has a very high rate of fire, doesn't overheat too quickly, and deals an impressive amount of damage, it's great for holding the line or pushing up the map through hallways, as it can take on multiple enemies at a time quite quickly. That is why this loadout uses the shock grenade. The Death Star maps, due to their close quarters engagements and constricted hallways, often result in players grouping together or having to hold off a point as a large team. Therefore, the shock grenade allows you to stun numerous enemies at a time, far more than on usual maps. And the Heavy Repeater's high rate of fire allows you to take out many of your opponents before they break the stun from the shock grenade. As our secondary star card, we're using the Battlefront, which is certainly one of my favorite star cards in the game. I know there's quite a bit of controversy surrounding it, as most people use it to heal themselves, and sometimes it can be pretty overpowered, but I don't find it too bad. If there are no teammates in the area and I'm low on health and about to enter a firefight, of course I'm going to use the Battlefront to heal myself. And when there are teammates around, I'll use the Battlefront then as well, and do my best to make sure they receive its benefits. Of course, on the Death Star maps, it's pretty easy to heal your teammates, as you're generally moving around in groups in the hallways of the Death Star. As our charge card, we're using the Scan Pulse, which really caters to the close quarters, lots of cover nature of the Death Star maps. Knowing when an enemy is going to come through a doorway, or even know which hallway and direction an enemy is heading in, is really crucial to be able to plan your next move strategically. If you're moving around the map as a lone wolf and the whole enemy team shows up when you're scanning, it's probably best to regroup with your teammates. In this sense, the Scan Pulse can also guide you along safe routes through the map, as you can see enemy movements and which parts of the map they have no presence in. Finally, as our trait, we're using the Bodyguard Trait, as I believe it is especially useful on the Death Star map, seeing as it gets pretty chaotic when holding off a point on the map. Usually when you're guarding a doorway with your team, blaster fire is everywhere and grenades are going off all around, which makes damage resistance, especially a 50% resistance at rank 3, really useful to stay alive on the Death Star maps. It's of course also really useful in firefights, as you will be able to tank damage and take far more hits from your opponents while dealing an impressive amount of damage with the Heavy Repeater. Now I'll talk quickly about how this loadout does on the new game mode introduced in this DLC, Battle Station. Stage 2 of the 3-stage game mode takes place in the Death Star, with the rebels trying to get R2-D2 and then escorting him back to the rendezvous point. The Empire, of course, has to stop them from doing this. So the game mode is all about holding off a position or breaking through a position held by the opposing team. This loadout happens to be very good at just that. The Heavy Repeater, thanks to its high damage and length between having to hit the cooling flush, as well as its unique secondary fire mode, makes it a very good blaster to both push up the map and hold a position. The shock grenade and Battlefront are of course really great when holding off a position, as the Battlefront will give your team a health boost, and the shock grenade can stall the enemy attack, as it can stun any enemies trying to push through your position. Then of course the Bodyguard Trait allows you to play more aggressively, whether on the defensive or offensive side of the battle. All in all, this loadout is extremely powerful on the Death Star maps, catering almost perfectly to the close to medium range engagements found on these maps. This loadout can also be played as a more support based player or as a lone wolf attacking the enemy side as a one-man army. I definitely suggest trying out this loadout on the new Death Star maps. And other than that, that is all for today. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, I'm very glad. If you wish to subscribe, feel more than welcome to. And as always, I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.